In the absolute darkness of the flooded mine, the only thing louder than the water rushing past his ears was the sound of his own frantic, trapped heartbeat. The thick, metallic scent of iron in the water wasn't from the old ore veins. It was fresh. Something was moving in the blackness with him, its form displacing the icy water in slow, deliberate pulses against his skin. Not swimming, hunting. His lungs screamed for air, a burning agony that promised a quick end. But the true horror wasn't drowning. It was the understanding, as a cold, slick tentacle brushed his leg, that surrender to the thing in the dark might be the only path to a few more seconds of life. This is not a story about escaping death. This is a story about volunteering for a nightmare. A shadow glides beneath the turquoise water, its form unnatural and vast. A flash of pallid flesh, then the water blooms crimson. This is the story of the man who faced an impossible choice: lose his life, or let a shark swallow his arm. The backstory begins under a deceptively sunny sky. Laughing, slow-motion shots capture friends on a boat, the air thick with salt and sunscreen. This is where we meet Jake Mitchell, a 32-year-old commercial diver from Tampa whose world was about to be swallowed by the deep. To his friends, he was the anchor, steady, reliable, utterly at home in the water. The ocean was his office, his playground, his sanctuary. That day was supposed to be a gift. A rare Sunday off found Jake spearfishing with his younger brother Leo, 5 miles out, where the ocean was crystalline and teeming with life. The water was impossibly clear, the reef below a vibrant tapestry where fish darted in abundance. It was perfect. Then, through his mask, Jake spotted a shadow, a massive grouper, still as stone, watching from a rocky ledge. He steadied his spear, focused on the prize catch. A shadow detached from the deeper blue, unseen. The water grew heavy, pressure building around him. He dove 30 feet, breath held, unaware of what approached. The first thing Jake felt wasn't pain. It was a sledgehammer impact to his right side. Violence made physical. The water around him compressed, then erupted into a vortex of white bubbles and twisting gray. A coppery tang filled his mouth as the world dissolved into violent turbulence. A great hammerhead, 14 feet of primordial instinct, its wide, flat head rammed him, disorienting him completely. Before Jake could even process the blur of motion, the shark pivoted with impossible, alien speed. It didn't just bite. The creature's maw opened in a silent, gaping void that swallowed his arm whole. From shoulder to fingertips, Jake's limb was now encased in a cold, slick prison of cartilage and pressure. The metallic scent of his own blood mixed with the salt, as a profound, wordless terror locked his lungs. Narrator. And here, time stopped. In the absolute silence of the deep, Jake's brain screamed with sensory overload. The pressure was unimaginable. A hydraulic press of muscle and cartilage crushing bone. A metallic tang of panic flooded his mouth as the cold seeped through his wetsuit, making his skin crawl. He felt the scrape of 1,000 daggers, the dermal denticles, like sandpaper, tearing his wetsuit and skin to ribbons. But most terrifying of all was the heat, a strange, alien warmth radiating from the creature's gullet. The metallic scent of blood mixed with the salt water, while a low, guttural vibration hummed through his bones. On the surface, Leo saw only the commotion, a sudden, violent thrashing that churned the water crimson. He plunged into the depths, spear clutched tight, his pulse hammering in his ears. Below him, a scene of pure horror unfolded. His brother was locked in a macabre, violent waltz with the shark, being whipped back and forth with brutal force. In that instant, Jake knew, with a certainty that turned the water to ice, his brother was dying. The shark, wrestling its massive prey, was drowning him in the crushing depths. His air dwindled to a few desperate, burning gulps. A searing fire spread through his chest. Then, cutting through the panic, came a bizarre and horrifying clarity. A damp, metallic scent filled the air as the sound slowed, stretching into a hollow echo. Jake's internal voice surfaced, strained yet eerily calm. "It has me," he thought. The words thick with realization. It's not letting go. It can't fit me. But the shark refused to release its prize. He realized it couldn't swallow him whole. His torso was too wide. Yet the creature maintained its crushing grip, a relentless force of nature. The metallic scent of his own blood mixed with the ocean's brine as the pressure intensified. The creature's grip tightened, holding him under until the water filled his lungs. Then it would rip him apart. He had one chance. A desperate, unthinkable gamble that defied every instinct screaming in his skull. A metallic taste of ozone and rot filled his mouth as the water grew colder, numbing his limbs. Then, Jake's voice cut through the panic, a whispered realization in the crushing dark. "Give it what it wants." Jake's instinct screamed to pull back, but he knew that would only tear his arm apart. Instead, he did the unthinkable. He stopped fighting entirely. His body went limp, surrendering to the crushing pressure. Then, with his final reserve of strength, he pushed forward into the darkness. He forced his arm deeper into the shark's gullet, a sickening tear of tissue, a wet hot, then a choked scream muffled by the creature's maw. The shark's primal instinct took over. Its pharyngeal muscles convulsed in a powerful swallow. The water grew thick with the scent of iron and salt. Jake's shoulder gave way with a wet, tearing crunch. Tendons snapped like overtuned strings, a sickening vibration he felt in his bones. But in that searing pain came a strange reprieve. The crushing pressure around his ribs slackened, just for a heartbeat. The beast's focus had shifted, its primal fury now fixed on the foreign object lodged deep in its gullet. He seized his moment, thrashing with a final, primal desperation. With a sickening tear, he wrenched himself free. A silent, rust-colored cloud blossomed in the frigid blackness. He escaped, but the price was his arm, severed clean from the deltoid down. Swallowed whole, he shot toward the surface, a crimson trail marking the sea between him and the monster. Leo hauled his brother, a gushing, vacant-eyed ruin, over the gunwale and into the boat. The coppery scent of blood filled the air as he cinched a makeshift tourniquet around the ravaged limb. His voice was a raw, shattered thing as he screamed into the crackling radio for help. The hammerhead, with its strange meal, vanished into the abyss. Jake survived, but the ordeal left him hollowed out. His hospital room smelled of antiseptic and stale air. He stared out the window, haunted by a silence that felt less like peace and more like a void. The Coast Guard reached the hospital in time, his body mended. He adapted to life with one arm, but some wounds refuse to heal. They fester in the mind. Now, a metallic scent, like old pennies, sometimes cuts through the air for no reason, and in the dead of night, he hears it. The faint, wet sound of something dragging itself across the floorboards below. He described the dreams to his therapists, not nightmares of attack, but of being inside. Dark, pulsing, warm visions, where he could still feel the rhythmic compression of the shark's throat around his missing limb. He still wakes sometimes, phantom fingers curling in the dark, convinced for one disorienting moment they're still trapped in that digestive heat. Then there's that strange, morbid thought he can't escape. The one he only confessed to his brother one late night, close on Jake's face, reflected in the window glass, pale and haunted. Jake, a part of me is still out there, Leo. It didn't just bite it off. It consumed it completely. That flesh is now part of the shark forever. Every time that creature swims through the dark, a piece of me travels with it. I can almost feel the cold current against that stolen skin. So the next time you hear about a shark attack, remember Jake Mitchell's choice. He fed the beast to save himself, a decision that allowed him to survive against impossible odds. This survival is a miracle, but it came with a bizarre, permanent transaction. Some debts can't be repaid with money, only with flesh, fear, and a scent of salt water that now follows him everywhere. He is a man forever bound to his hunter. He knows, in the most visceral way, what it is to become prey. The question that haunts him isn't, why me? It's a far more unsettling one. The silence that followed the music's abrupt end felt like a physical weight pressing against his chest. Is the nightmare truly over? If a part of you is still inside the monster, the air grew thick with the scent of ozone and old decay, a taste of copper lingering on his tongue. Somewhere, a slow, wet drip echoed, each drop a countdown to a dread he could no longer outrun.
If the veil stirred, subscribe and meet the next encounter.